People who never saw Hiroshima before the bomb must wonder what the city used to be like. Hiroshima fanned out between the mountain range to the north and the inland sea to the south. 7 branches of the Otter River flow gently among the delta's various neighborhoods, spanned by countless bridges. White-sailed fishing boats and small passenger boats would navigate up into the river branches from Ujina Bay. The rivers of Hiroshima were beautiful in a way that made you feel sleepy. On the 6th of August, there were, I think, about 400,000 people here. This was the city above which, one morning, at the height of summer, an eerie blue flash came from the sky. Hiroshima is, without light, a white, white city. Oh, density! This weightless anthem trumpets transcendent through hidden chambers and breaks through iron doors into the infernal room. Over your dreadful vibration, this measured harmony floats audible. These jubilant tones are honey and milk and wine-sweet water poured on the stone-black floor. These syllables are barley groats I scatter on the reactor's core. I call your name with hollow vowels. I psalm your fate close by, my breath near deathless, ever at your side, to spell your destiny. I set this verse prophetic on your mausoleum walls to seal you up eternally with diamond truth. Oh, doomed plutonium. On July the 16th, 1945, an assembled group of scientists saw a false sun rising in the west. Here, in the Llanado del Muerto, scientific myths of progress and religious myths of the last days were finally fused in a terrifying transmutation of mass into energy. Years later, J. Robert Oppenheimer, the learned, cultured, cosmopolitan physicist who headed the Manhattan Project, was asked by its military director, Lieutenant General Leslie Groves, why he had chosen to name the test site Trinity. Groves had assumed that Oppenheimer chose the name arbitrarily, just another generic religious place name that would throw off any suspicion that something special was happening in the New Mexico desert. The physicist answered, there is a poem of John Donne written just before his death, which I know and love. From it, a quotation: "As west and east, in all flat maps, and I am one, are one, so death doth touch the resurrection." That still does not make a trinity, but in another better-known devotional poem, Donne opens, "Batter my heart, three-person God." So this site, where the intense heat of man's first nuclear explosion would transmute sand into glass, would forever be known as Trinity. Batter my heart, three-person God, for you as yet but knock, breathe, shine, and seek to mend, that I may rise and stand, o'erthrow me, and bend your force to break, blow, burn, and make me new. I, like a usurped town to another due, labour to admit you, but to no end. Reason, your viceroy in me should defend, but is captive and proves weak or untrue. Yet dearly I love you, and would be loved fain, but am betrothed unto your enemy. Divorce me, untie or break that knot again. Take me to you, imprison me, for I, except you enthrall me, never shall be free, nor ever chaste, except you ravish me. At noon in the desert, a panting lizard waited for history, its elbows tense, watching the curve of a particular road as if something might happen. It was looking at something farther off than people could see, an important scene acted in stone for little selves at the flute end of consequences. There was just a continent without much on it, under a sky that never cared less, ready for a change The elbows weighted, the hands gripped hard on the desert. I sit in one of the dives on 52nd Street, uncertain and afraid, as the clever hopes expire of a low, dishonest decade. Waves of anger and fear circulate over the bright and darkened lands of the earth, obsessing our private lives. The unmentionable odor of death offends the September night. All I have is a voice to undo the folded lie, the romantic lie in the brain of the sensual man in the street, and the lie of authority whose buildings grope the sky. There is no such thing as the state, and no one exists alone. Hunger allows no choice to the citizen or the police. We must love one another or die. Defenseless under the night, our world in stupor lies. Yet dotted everywhere, ironic points of light flash out wherever the just exchange their messages. May I, composed like them of eros and of dust, beleaguered by the same negation and despair, show an affirming flame.
The Polar Dew has just warned that a nuclear rocket strike of at least 1,000 megatons has been launched by the enemy directly at our major cities. This announcement will take 2¼ minutes to make. You therefore have a further 8¼ minutes to comply with the shelter requirements published in the Civil Defense Code, Section Atomic Attack. A specially shortened Mass will be broadcast at the end of this announcement. Protestant and Jewish services will begin simultaneously. Select your wavelength immediately according to the instructions in the Defense Code. Do not take well-loved pets, including birds, into your shelter. They will consume fresh air. Leave the old and bedridden. You can do nothing for them. Remember to press the ceiling switch when everyone is in the shelter. Set the radiation aerial. Turn on the Geiger barometer. Turn off your television now. Turn off your radio immediately the services end. At the same time, secure explosion plugs in the ears of each member of your family. Take down your plasma flasks. Give your children the pills marked 1 and 2 in the CD green container, then put them to bed. Do not break the inside airlock seals until the radiation all clear shows. Watch for the cuckoo in your Perspex panel, or your district touring doctor rings your bell. If before this your air becomes exhausted, or if any member of your family is critically injured, administer the capsules marked Valley Forge, Red Pocket and No. 1 Survival Kit for painless death. Catholics will have been instructed by their priests what to do in this eventuality. This announcement is ending. Our president has already given orders for massive retaliation. It will be decisive. Some of us may die. Remember, statistically, it's not likely to be you. All flags are flying fully dressed on government buildings. The sun is shining. Death is the least we have to fear. We are all in the hands of God. Whatever happens, happens by His will. Now, go quickly to your shelters.
I suppose people of our generation aren't able to die for good causes any longer. We had all that done for us in the 30s and the 40s when we were still kids. There aren't any good, brave causes left. If the Big Bang does come, we all get killed off. It won't be in aid of the old-fashioned grand design. It'll just be for the brave new nothing very much, thank you, about as pointless and inglorious as stepping in front of a bus. Nah, there's nothing left for it, my boy, but to let yourself be butchered by the women. Some years after being stationed, I took a bottle of brandy, as was my custom, to the library. Inside, 2 servicemen were engaged in deep conversation. One of them I knew, the other I didn't. They were talking about what the base meant and how much of it was planned. After a brief silence, the man of my acquaintance asked about a woman with whom his friend was in love. I can clearly recall his reply. "I think I'm in love with her," he said, "but I don't know if it's just because of this place. Maybe I'm being provoked into loving her because of the bomb." All the books I have read on the subject of thermonuclear war, and it is this conversation that, to me, gets to the true heart of the matter. It made me think about the effect the bomb has on us all, on all our decisions, even down to the people we choose as lovers. There is what I like to think of as a cosmology of the bomb, a systemic underpinning of its influence upon the world. It is not enough to protect and survive. One must understand the control the bomb exerts, and through this understanding come to halt those powers, halt them, take back control, and find ourselves in a new age, an age of wonder, of charity, of hope, and of love.